Hello, everyone. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passion World Talk Radio Network, a subsidiary of Global Media Network, LLC. Our mantra is to educate, enlighten, and entertain. I want to thank you for joining me today and taking me with you wherever you are. And if you don't know already, I can be heard on Alexa if you have Amazon. So check that out. I am so excited today about my guest. I have a Jersey girl in the house. Yay. Yay for us Jersey gals. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of a story. My son Josh is friends with my guest partner. And Josh told me, Desiree is on another podcast. Can you interview her about her book? And I said, sure. So with me today is Desiree Pearl, who's a Jersey gal, and she is a poet, survivor, and mental health advocate who uses her writing to shine a light on trauma, resilience, and the lifelong journey of healing. Trash is her debut collection, written for anyone who's ever been made to feel unworthy and needs a reminder that they matter. And believe me, that is so important. Desiree Pearl is author and writer of Trash, A Survivor's Journey Through Trauma, Abuse, and Healing. And got to do the disclaimer. The views of the guest may not represent those of the host of the station. And Desiree's going to talk about what her book is about. It is raw. It's powerful. She's been through a lot. And I did hear Desiree another show, and she is a real deal. And I want to welcome Desiree Pearl to Chatting with Betsy. Welcome, Desiree.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you are welcome, and my pleasure. Josh gets thrilled when I mention him on the show, so I have to give Josh credit
of course.
for telling me about you and your book. Desiree, I always ask writers, what inspired you to write Trash, A Survivor's Journey Through Trauma, Abuse, and Healing?
Well, it goes back a long, long time. This book has been probably about 20-ish years in the making. I've been through adversity, obstacles, trauma pretty much since I was conceived. And writing was always my therapy. It was my way out, my way to escape. So I wrote my first poem when I was about 5 years old. I couldn't even write words yet, and there I was writing poetry. And it's been something that stayed with me throughout all the years and all of the different things that I've gone through, whether they were good, bad, or indifferent. And so I decided to pull all of my old poetry, since some of it was written when I was even a preteen. The first poem going into this book I wrote back in 1999 when I was about 12. So I revised it, I compiled it, and thus Trash was born. And this is my way to tell people, basically, if I can survive it, you can too. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Even if you can't see it, it is still there.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, I have to say, in my opinion, the best guests are those who have gone through something and come out the other side. People love to hear stories about people who have overcome tragedies and illness, whatever it is. Because you know what, Desiree, and I'm sure you'll probably agree with this, everyone feels that they're all alone in how they feel. Or I'm the only one who went through this. I'm the only one who feels this way, and you're not. They're not alone. That's why I do the show. So people know they're not alone.
The aim of my book. If one person feels heard or seen or a little bit less lonely because they've read my book, then mission accomplished.
Absolutely. And your book is coming out, this is August 4th that I'm recording this month?
Yeah, it'll be out August 16th. It is available to pre-order right now on my website, which I'll give a quick plug. It's www.thatdarkchicknj, like New Jersey, .com, and you can find it under the Literary Crypt tab. And so you can pre-order it if you want, or you can wait until it launches on the 16th, whichever way you want to do it.
And the audience can get in touch with you via your website also, right?
Yes. Yeah, there's a Contact Me tab, so all they have to do is click on that, and it'll shoot me a direct email.
I went on your website. It was a while ago. It's cool. I liked your website. You've been through a lot, and do share whatever you're comfortable sharing, Desiree, about your past. You became a mom at a young age.
I did. I had my older son when I was 18 years old. It was 2 weeks before I turned 19. And although it was difficult, I wouldn't have it any other way. He is one of my best friends now. He's 19 years old. And we essentially grew up together. And I always tell him he's the real MVP. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be here today.
He gave you hope. Your son
absolutely.
was someone for you to live for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not to give up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Folks, I don't apologize for getting emotional because it just gets me. How people,
that's okay.
They have a circumstance, and they allow it to overcome them. You, right. Desiree, went from victim to victorious.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and I just love that. And I loved hearing your story. And you went through a lot of trauma in your younger years. You went from different homes. Your mom, if I remember, you could correct me if I'm wrong, your mom did she have mental health issues? Or was she sick physically?
Both of my parents were sick physically. My father had leukemia, and he passed away when he was 35. My mom had a very rare form of adenocarcinoma, and she passed away when she was 40. And I lived with my grandmother.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It made me who I am. I would like to take whatever negative I've gone through and flip it and turn it into a positive. And so if my story, my background can inspire people and give people hope for their future, that's what I want to do with it. I don't want my past and my trauma to keep me down. I want it to be almost like the motivation to lift me up and help lift up other people too. So, yes, I've gone through a lot of sad things, but I can keep a smile on my face now knowing that if I didn't go through all of those things, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And I finally like myself. It took a long time, but we're there.
I understand, yes. That's, it does. I can't help but get choked up. That is so true because, other people, you lost your parents. You were very young, and you went to live with your grandmother. And that is trauma in and of itself.
Right.
And then, the passed with your grandma, you went to another home. And you could have fallen into, poor me, and not turn your page, because a lot of times we're told a story from other people how we are. We're put in a box. People put us in a box. Sometimes we put ourselves in a box. And to step out of that and say, this is who I am, and here I am, flaws and all, love me or don't love me, accept me or not, exactly. Here I am. And I feel the same.
I don't want
I feel the same way.
To think, I don't want anybody to think that it was just some easy process. It took a whole lot of therapy and a whole lot of self-reflection and self-awareness to get to the point that I'm at today, especially because all of the negativity that I had suffered as a child, that cycle was perpetuated into adulthood. And so until I got into therapy and was in it for years, I was still down. And, I suffer from clinical depression and mood instability and anxiety and CPTSD. I still have a whole lot going on mentally, but you gotta put in the work to be able to overcome things. You can't just sit there and expect all these wonderful things to just happen and pop out of nowhere. That's incredibly unrealistic. But if you do the work, then you can overcome all of those things that you've gone through. So I've put in the work, and I'm still doing it, and I'm still putting in the work every day, but I'm finally at the point where I'm not believing what these people say about me anymore. And, since I started, creating boundaries with people and focusing on myself, the campaign against me, let me tell you, it's big and it's loud, and there's a lot of people that are talking a lot about me behind my back. And I'm finally at the point where I'm like, you know what, go ahead. Because you talking all of this about me, it says more about your character than it does about mine. So if you want to make yourself look bad, go right ahead. But it took a lot to get me to this point.
Wow, Desiree, you gave such golden nuggets right here. Folks, I want you to listen to this again. You have to put in the work. I've said this many times on my show. You can go to a therapist, and sometimes it takes more than one therapist till you find the one that you are comfortable with that works for you. Sometimes it takes more than one. But you have to put in the work. You have to do the work. A lot of people go to a therapist, they don't work for me. Well, did you do the work? Most of the time they'll probably say, no. And I understand, Desiree, because I went for counseling. I'm still counseling. You're young enough, where you can enjoy more, many more years of living with your newfound self. I didn't turn my page till I was 60 because there wasn't the services and the knowledge available when I was going through things as a teenager. And I just want to tell the audience out there, and I say this a lot, going for support is not, and I repeat, not a sign of weakness, but a strength. And let me tell you, folks, when you are going to counseling and people are making fun of you and calling you names, which happened to me, it takes a strong person to withstand that and still go for help, even though you're being made fun of and being gaslit for it. So I give you a lot of kudos, Desiree, for knowing that you needed support, going for counseling, and working on it. And, yes, it is a daily struggle for some of us, and I'm including myself. It's daily struggle. It is. Excuse me. I will share this. I'm very open with my audience. It's a struggle for me. Sometimes I think, what am I doing? I'm not good enough to interview some people. Why do they want to talk to me? I'm not good enough. I battle this, folks, sometimes daily. And, of course, I know I'm good enough, and I understand that. But you get these doubts that come up because of the trauma that you endured in your childhood. And, people they get physical scars when they're physically abused. But nobody sees the mental scars when you've been mentally and emotionally abused. Those are inside, folks.
And that's why I tell people that it's so important to be kind to other people, because everybody is battling or fighting a battle that is invisible. Nobody can see other people's battles. So you don't know what your, unkind words could do to somebody. What if they were having the worst day of their life and you said something mean to them and that pushed them off the edge? You don't know what's going to happen. But it also works on the opposite side of it too, because somebody could be having a terrible, terrible day, and who knows, they may be thinking about doing something not so good, and then they encounter you and you do one tiny act of kindness that to you is insignificant. It doesn't mean anything. You just opened a door for somebody or told somebody that their hair looks nice, whatever that little tiny act could be, and you could change their entire day around because you'll give them faith in humanity again. So everybody just needs to be kinder to each other. And in order to do that, we all need to heal. And, that's the point of my book, is that if we can all heal as individuals, then we'll inevitably heal as a society as well.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm a huge mental health advocate. And if anyone listens to my show, you all know I'm a huge mental health advocate. And the one thing about COVID is that it pushed mental health to the forefront, where people are talking about it. Celebrities came out and talked about it, and it is being talked about on social media. I sometimes could spend an hour literally on Instagram because there's so much now. People are coming out, talking about trauma, talking about childhood trauma, and all the different roles that, kids play in their family. And, I'm learning. I'm 67 years old, folks, and I'm now learning that what I experienced, it was real. And, it does take a long time to get out. I want to say get out of that hole, but for lack of a better term, but to really flip that switch, to flip that page, to know that, you know what, you are good enough. You are good enough.
It's a daily struggle. When you've been through the ringer, that is a daily struggle. Like, I don't want people to look at me and think that I have everything together, because believe you me, I don't. I still suffer every day. Even now, coming out with this book, before this, not nobody, but very, very few people have ever read my writing, because I kept it so close to me. And I was so scared of people making fun of me or telling me that my writing was terrible or things like that, even though deep down I knew I was a talented writer. It's been a passion since I was teeny tiny. But even now, I'm like, am I really good enough to come out with this book? It's imposter syndrome, and it's ever prevalent.
I have to tell you something, Desiree, and this goes for the audience too. When you set boundaries with people who have treated you not great, they don't like it. People will resent you setting boundaries, and they will not like that, and we'll talk about you. And I heard this saying like 7 years ago, and it really hit me. It is none of your business what other people say about you, and what they say, behind your back. And when, like at my age, I have finally learned, you know what? It's really freeing not to care what people think. I'm being the best version of myself that I could be, and if people don't like it, let them talk about me. Let them say whatever they want. I'm still going to do my thing.
Yeah. Like, I know all these people, and I'm laughing right now because I know exactly who is running the campaign against me because I set my boundaries. And I know at the end of the day, I can look at myself in the mirror, and I know I'm a good person. I know that I have nothing but kindness and compassion and positivity in my heart towards everybody. I don't even wish bad things on my worst enemies. So, but of all those people who are behind my back talking, how many of them can say that? I bet you they can't.
That's That's right. And you know what? A lot of it, sorry to say, is jealousy. You're a strong person, Desiree, because you're taking your most intimate thoughts. You put it out on paper, and people are going to read it, and people will see your vulnerability. And sometimes, we like to hide it, right? We like to hide our vulnerability
and
yes, and how we feel. But you know what? People, there are going to always be critics. Sometimes we're our own worst critic. I know I am for myself. Yeah. But you never know. I'm going to tell you this, Desiree. You never know who hears you and who can be affected by the words that you say.
Exactly.
And I will not be surprised if you get such positive response from your book saying, "No, Desiree, you helped me." And even if people don't respond, you help people. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. That's my whole point, and that's what's keeping me going. And that was what made me actually publish the book, is because I went through everything completely alone. Like, I did not have a support system until probably about 2 or 3 years ago. And now I have the best support system I could ever ask for. But for the first 35 or so years, I went through everything completely by myself. And I thought I was the only one thinking, crazy things and negative things. And I thought I was the only one going through the things that I was going through, et cetera, et cetera. And come to find out, everybody has a story. Everybody's been through stuff. So I don't want people to feel like they're alone in their journey, because they're not. And I want people to have hope for the future, because as long as you put in the work, you can make your life better. It's hard. I'm not going to take that away from it. It's not easy. But you just have to keep that motivation and keep your eye on the prize. And it'll eventually happen.
True. Yes. Yeah, you are. I agree 100%. I mean, I'm still, going for counseling. And I also was alone in my struggles. Josh and I, we were a tag team taking care of Matt, my husband. Josh was dad. And people don't, unless you've gone through I've come to this conclusion, Desiree, as if people don't go through a circumstance, they don't know what it's like. And I've come to the point now, at my age, you know what? I don't owe people an explanation. I don't owe anyone an explanation of why I can or cannot do something. And you know what? I told Josh this.
100% right.
I'm really happy that people don't know what it's like to lose a spouse. I'm glad they don't know. I'm glad they don't know what it's like to live in chronic pain. But because they don't live in chronic pain doesn't mean that I don't live in chronic pain. But, and also I've come to understanding, Desiree, that people don't have the emotional intelligence to understand other people's situations or to empathize. Some people just can't do it.
No,
and we can't change them, It's really, it boggles the mind of what people will say about other people when they don't know the situation.
I can't understand it. I have tried and tried. I've analyzed, and because I'm a very analytical person as well, and I can generally figure out a maybe logical, maybe illogical explanation for why people are the way they are. But the way some people have treated me, I mean, even in the past 5 years, I look at them and I try to analyze it, and it just makes no sense. But also, I could never do that to somebody.
Right.
I could never act that way towards somebody else. So maybe that's why I can't understand why they've treated me in that way. But it blows my mind every day.
Yeah. Yeah, it is mind boggling. You know, people, they don't understand situations, and you know what? That's their problem. You know,
Right.
that's
Yep.
like you said, it's a reflection on them.
Exactly.
Maya Angelou, you know, I'm going to paraphrase. She said, "People may not remember your name, but they'll remember how you made them feel." And that's true.
Yes.
I have seen
I
it.
forgot that was her that said that. I love that phrase. That's a wonderful quote.
I have definitely have experienced that, and I have had people tell me, you know, Betsy, thank you for your support.
Right.
It's very powerful because you're just showing support, and that's what you know is missing, I think, in this world. And when we share our stories, like you're doing in your book, Desiree, it brings our humanity back to share
I mean,
our stories.
Social media is great, but I feel like it really does remove people from the human side of things. Although we can connect to people, you know, all over the world now in a way like we never could before, it's how can I explain it? It's cold. It's lacking the actual human touch and human interaction. And I think that it's severely lacking today.
Exactly. I said this probably last month on my show. And at a time where we can connect to anyone, anywhere, we're more connected than ever. We're also more disconnected with each other than ever before.
Yeah.
There's just disconnect. You know, I mean, why are people filming tragic events instead of calling 911?
I can't. That drives me crazy. That drives me out of my mind when I see that.
I don't I don't get it. It's just so bizarre to me. I want to get back, Desiree, to what was it like growing up with your grandmother?
It was something. It was something. It was, I don't want to say it was a love-hate relationship, but it was kind of a love-hate relationship. When push came to shove and something major happened and I needed her, she was there. Not emotionally. She was, in my opinion, and this was never, you know, confirmed by a professional, but in my opinion, she had a whole lot of undiagnosed psychiatric illnesses. I can probably name a few off the top of my head, but because they were undiagnosed and thus untreated, they affected her, which affected me. So one of the big ones is that she was a hoarder. And so I always felt that she put her things ahead of me. She would fight tooth and nail to keep a piece of loose leaf paper from 1967, but she never fought that hard for me. So it was something. Like, I knew if I needed her, if I was, you know, late on a car payment or something like that, she would always cover it, and she kept a roof over my head. But that was pretty much it. I had no emotional support. And like I said before, I can understand the why behind everything and the way she acted and stuff like that, but it didn't make the hurt less.
Right.
So it was traumatic growing up with her. I moved back in with her when I was, my mom and I moved in with her when I was 10. Then my mom passed away, and I had to go to Florida for a year, and that was a whole different ballgame. And then I came back to her after a year, and then I bounced between her and wherever I could go for a while. And then we ended up, she moved in with me in 2020 because she had a heart problem, and I took care of her until the day she died this past December. So it was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was interesting. Thank you.
Yes, so you were a caregiver. Also.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a whole nother set of circumstances, right?
It is.
It's people don't realize this, and it took me years to realize this, and I've heard this, with what we grow up with, whoever we lived with, parents, grandparents, whoever, and they were emotionally unavailable. Do you realize, from what I hear from experts, we tend to attract the same type of
100%.
people?
100%. I always say, so I've been married twice, and I always say the first time I got married, I married my father. The second time I got married, I married my grandmother. And it's so true. You attract, or maybe not even attract, but you gravitate towards what you're used to, even if it's crazy and abusive and narcissistic, speaking from experience, and just terrible. You gravitate towards that because you're comfortable with the chaos more than you're comfortable with the safety. And getting into the relationship that I'm in now, it was difficult. I was uncomfortable because I'm safe and taken care of. And it sounds insane to say, but it's true, because I had nothing but drama and chaos and trauma my entire life. So when I got into a relationship where I was taken care of and I was safe and I was okay to be vulnerable, it didn't feel right.
Yeah, because you're not used to it. And then,
right?
Yeah, and then you're waiting for the ball to drop, right? Like you're waiting for
to this day. Yep.
Yes.
To this day.
You're waiting. Okay. Yeah. It's like you're waiting. Okay, when is this person going to abandon me or hurt me?
Yep. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, he deals with the residual effects of all of my trauma all the time. And, he's so loving and patient, and I am incredibly lucky to have him. But it's true. I wait every day. He even looked at me one day. He said, "You're just waiting for the other shoe to drop, aren't you?" And I lost it. And I was like, yes. Like, when is it all going to go wrong? When is it going to blow up in my face? When are you going to die? Because everybody around me dies. When are you going to die? Are you going to die tomorrow? It's awful.
It is. And, to a degree, Desiree, I mean, I didn't live your life, but to a degree I can understand that because whenever I get close to someone, they leave. They either move, stop talking, or something happens. So I have this fear. I'm very transparent here, folks. I do have this fear of getting close to people.
Oh,
because
listen.
it leads to pain. Yeah, I associate getting close to people with being hurt. And as crazy as that might sound.
I made friends with this girl about a year and a half ago, and we hit it off immediately. And she is still my very best friend. Like, her and I are thick as thieves, and we're like the yin to each other's yang. And I make a joke of it because trauma gave me dark humor, and that's how I deal with things.
Yes.
So I look at her, I said, "You better be careful." I said, "Don't step on any cracks. Don't drive in the car on the highway behind a logging truck. Like, be careful what you do, because, people around me drop like flies." And, I make a joke about it, but at the same time, like, my best friend back in the day, she was murdered when she was 35 years old. So,
oh, my goodness. That's awful.
It happened.
Yeah.
So it's scary.
It is. And, I was always afraid of that with Matt. I knew Matt was going to leave me. I had a feeling that he was going to leave me early. And, he died, it will be 6 years in January. Right. And he knew. It's weird because he said we didn't even plan retirement. He goes, "I'm not going to live long enough. The men in my family don't live till retirement." He was right.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, and when I was younger, I had 3 close friends. I was like 9 or 10. They left. They moved, Desiree, within very close time with together. So I had 3 friends that was close to leave me. Yes.
Wow.
And that traumatized me. Put me in a depression that lasted me into adulthood. Of course, when I was a child back in the 60s, we didn't talk about that. I didn't know what grief was. I didn't know, you know, I had the sadness, and it's like my mother would say, you don't have nothing to be sad about, but I did. To me, I did. And I was afraid of getting close to people, so I didn't make friends because I was afraid they would leave me, and then my family made fun of me for not having friends. Of course, they didn't want to understand why I didn't have friends.
Right.
And
yeah, I mean, with me, I moved around so much that I couldn't make those friendships because I was moving all over the place all the time. Like I went to, probably 4 different schools before high school. So, you know, nothing lasted. Like I have one friend that I've had since.
Oh, Desiree, I think I lost you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I might have lost Desiree.
No.
If you hear me, Desiree, call back in.
Can you hear me or
not? As far as I see, it's still recording. Desiree's call somehow got dropped, folks. I hope she calls back in. I don't know what happened, but you know how technology is. We are at the mercy of technology, but I highly recommend for you all to read Trash. There's Desiree. You're here, yes. I don't know what happened, but I had
to bring drama to the channel. That's what I had to do. I had to make sure it was dramatic.
That's okay. You're not the only one this happened to. I ad-libbed, so that's fine. I'm used to that.
Fantastic. I got to keep you on your toes somehow.
Yeah, I'm used to ad-libbing. So you moved around. So why would you feel comfortable making friends if you knew you were going to be leaving? So you protect yourself, don't you, Desiree? We get this armor.
Absolutely.
We build a protective armor. Oh, my gosh, you and I have so much in common.
I know we do. It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, we do. We build this protective armor. And I realized a few years ago, my walls that were keeping people out were also not letting people into my life that could help me.
Yep.
So it's a very, what I want to say, it's a very difficult situation for a lot of us to let people in and keep people out because we want to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
And this is what happens. Excuse me. When you've been hurt over and over and over again. And you don't want to get hurt anymore.
Yeah, you have to, it's like you're controlling your own hurt. You have to control your own hurt so that other people can't hurt you anymore. You're the only one that's allowed to hurt you. It's wild. The human brain is fascinating.
Yes. And with grieving, and you had a lot of loss in your life, a tremendous amount of loss. And there's the, grieving brain and how grieving affects us in ways that I didn't even know until after I lost my husband and more people started talking about grieving because grieving is not talked about. People don't want to mention the deceased person's name as if we don't know that they're already gone. Folks, you can
because you want to keep their memory alive, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. It's like, if I mention their name, they might get upset. Well, yeah, we might cry because your memory might touch our heart,
Right.
but it's not because you mentioned our loved one's name. I say their name. Share a memory. We want to hear that.
Say it loud. Keep them alive. Keep their memory, their legacy going. That's why I talk to my kids about my parents all the time. I have a big picture of my mom in my living room. My dad, I need to find one. Because he died when I was 7, so a lot of his stuff is kind of hard to find. But I tell my kids all the time, about my parents and who they were as people. And, my dad wasn't the greatest guy in the whole world, but that was because he had his own issues that were undiagnosed and thus untreated. But my kids know who they are and who they were and where they came from and all of that stuff. You have to keep that alive. If you don't say their name, then
absolutely,
they die. They really die.
That is so true, and such a contrast. When I was younger and I was a curious child, and now I'm a curious adult, when I would ask about my deceased relatives, don't talk about them. Let them rest in peace. We don't talk about them. Well, why can't you talk about them?
Right.
Why can't you say, what they did, who they were?
Right.
I'm so glad to see now, Desiree, people showing and sharing their loved ones' memories.
Yeah.
And I feel like I blazed the trail because when Matt died, people were not showing their pictures. And I said, you know what? If you want to share your loved one's memories of their birthday or celebrate their birthday, Josh and I will celebrate Matt's birthday. Do it. If you want to celebrate your anniversary, do it.
I just thought of this. It's so funny? Today's my dad's birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? Yeah, August 1st, 1958, my dad was born.
Oh, wow. He's a year younger than me.
Yeah.
That's, and August 7th is Matt's birthday.
Oh. See, they're right next to each other. They're probably up there hanging out.
Yeah. Why can't people celebrate? And it's very, we as a society, we're not taught about grieving. And I say this a lot on my show, Desiree, and I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. Please, people, do not tell people to be strong. That is not helpful. It's hurtful, actually, because people have been strong. They are strong. Just because someone cries or they seek support does not make them a weak person. We have to change that image. It is not weakness.
Oh, believe me. My entire life I was strong. Quote, unquote, I was strong.
Yeah.
I didn't even cry at my mom. My mom was my best friend. And I didn't even cry at her wake because I was too busy walking around and trying to get people to not be sad. So, I've been taking care of people since I was a kid. Being strong is, it's almost a fallacy. You have to allow yourself to be vulnerable, and it's so hard. And I'm not the best at that. I am not very emotional. But you got to let the wall down a little bit just to get it out.
Yes.
You can't fester. Festering is so unhealthy.
And it definitely is. And you have 2 sons. I have a son. And I always say that, we have to train our sons to show their emotions of what they're feeling in a positive, nurturing environment.
Yes.
And that's the problem, Desiree. Your dad was, from my era, and even as a female, not, men in my time, taught don't cry, you're being a sissy.
Yep.
I was told don't cry.
Yep.
That's a weakness. You're a crybaby.
Suck it up. Get over it. Yep.
Suck it up. Yeah. We have to stop this. And I say this a lot because men are more prone to suicide than women, statistically. And we, even like, I'll give an example. When I videoed Matt dying, and people would see Josh and I crying, and for someone to say, be strong, or to tell Josh, be strong for your mom, oh, no. I have a big mouth. Oh, no. He does not have to be strong. He can cry if he wants to.
That's right.
I could cry. That doesn't mean that we're weak. We are watching our loved one die. We are human beings. We're not robots. And I think that that just really has to change. And even, I talk to Josh a lot about, he knows he could come to me if he has a problem. He knows he could talk about grieving. His dad's birthday's coming up. I ask him, how you doing? Father's Day is very difficult for him. And you know what I told him, Desiree? I said, Father's Day may always be difficult for you. That's good that you realize it. It's okay to realize that. It's okay to be sad. And we go and have fun. You have to validate, folks, your feelings. You have to acknowledge your feelings and then move on. Because if you don't confront and sit with your pain, as difficult as it is, if you don't sit with it, it is going to fester and it's going to make you sick. It's a known fact.
People don't realize
it's going to come out
between festering on these things and keeping things in and actually physiologically and physically getting ill. There's such a huge connection between the two. Like our brain is a powerful, powerful thing, and it affects the rest of our body. I mean, there's research studies out there that say like stress lowers your immune system, which it absolutely does. I'm hardly ever sick these days. Not that I'm not stressed out, but I'm not as traumatized and negative as I used to be. When I was growing up in my grandma's house, and I'm sure there were physical factors as well, but I was sick all the time. I was in the emergency room probably once a month up until I moved out of her house. So it's so interconnected, and people really need to focus on their mental health in order to get the best out of their physical health.
Absolutely. Desiree, you are amazing. You are such a gem.
Oh, thank you.
I'm sending you hugs via the airwaves,
right back at you.
because you're just a pleasure to talk to, and I love talking to authentic, people that just, share, hey, you know what, I've had a circumstance and I'm going for help. Yes, it's a struggle. Yes, it's a daily struggle. But you know what? I'm here and I'm making it through and I'm working on myself. Yeah. Because we're all works in progress until the day we die.
That's absolutely
We are all works in progress.
Like I said, I don't want anybody to come up in here and think that there's just a light switch that gets flipped and like everything is just wonderful right after that. It's not. There are days when my biggest accomplishment is getting out of bed. That's still there. The depression is still there. And I say this in my book, I think, that I view mental illness kind of like asthma. So if somebody has asthma, it's a chronic condition. They're going to have it their entire life. Their whole life. But with the right breathing treatment and respiratory therapy, the asthma attacks will be fewer and farther between, and they'll be less severe. Same thing, in my opinion. Again, I'm not a professional, but same thing in my opinion with mental illness, like my depression, anxiety, and all that stuff. It's still there. It's always going to be there. But because of medication and therapy, my episodes are fewer and farther between, and they're less severe. So I used to, when I would go into a depressive episode, I would be there for, it could be as long as a month. But then I got on medication and I got into therapy. Now I know if I have a depressive episode, it's probably only going to last 2 or 3 days, maybe week tops. So it gets less. It will always be there, but it won't be as bad as it once was. Every day is a step forward.
Absolutely. That is so true, Desiree. We need to treat mental health illness just like anything else. If you have a fractured, arm, you put it in a cast, it gets repaired.
Yep.
There are wounds, like I said before, that are invisible. And folks, don't judge people. Don't ever judge anyone taking medication that they need to help them. Because I always say this, no one knows what's in store for us, and life can throw you a curveball, and how would you want to be treated if you had to be on medication, if you had to go for counseling? So, that's just how I feel. And as we wrap up here, Desiree, I want to thank you for coming on, sharing your story, and I wish you much success. Folks, the name of the book is, you're welcome, Trash, A Survivor's Journey Through Trauma, Abuse, and Healing, Desiree Pearl. And go ahead, Desiree, give your information again where they could get the book.
So you can go on my website. It is thatdarkchicknj, like New Jersey, .com, and then you go to the Literary Crypt tab, and you'll see it right there. It's available for pre-order now, and then after August 16th, it'll be much more widely distributed. But if you could go to my site to get it, that'd be even cooler.
Oh, that is so awesome. Thank you, and best wishes on your book, and you ever want to come back, you are more than welcome to come back.
This is wonderful. I really appreciate you having me.
Oh, you are welcome, and my pleasure. And I want to thank my son, Josh Sloan, for connecting Desiree and I together. And, folks, all the information about Desiree Pearl will be in a blog that Jeannie White writes. Jeannie White is the station manager and produces the show. And I want to thank Lillian Caldwell, who's the CEO of Passionate World Talk Radio Network, who makes this all possible. And I want to thank you for listening, subscribing. If you don't already subscribe to Chatting with Betsy, it is for free on Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, to name a few. And I really would appreciate it if you would subscribe, share the show to help someone. This is why I do Chatting with Betsy. It's to let people know that they are not alone and provide resources. Passion World Talk Radio Network is not just your regular internet station. We are a resource center. Go on PassionWorldTalkRadioNetwork.com. You could put in a topic, and you will probably see resources. And I just want to thank everyone for joining me today. And again, thank you, Desiree Pearl, for your book that you wrote. And I could tell it's from the heart. I could tell you speak from the heart. And I wish you all the happiness and in the world. I really do. You deserve it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And, folks, if you want to follow me on Facebook, Betsy E. Wurzel, Wurzel, and you can see pictures of Josh and I and Matt, and just, be kind to each other. As I always say at the end of the show, and I'm going to say it again. In a world where you could be anything, please be kind and shine your light bright, because we need it now more than ever before. We need to shine that light, folks, and be kind humans to each other. And that's what I have to say today. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio Network, a subsidiary of Global Media Network, LLC. So we chat again. Be safe, everyone. Bye-bye now.